this edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast, featuring our discussion of the FX original series Taboo, episode 3 of season 3. I'm your host, Foxman, and I'm joined by the pigeon shit to my cow shit. What up, Moth?
Pigeon shit to your cow shit. It's very obvious to everyone that you're sick because this is the first season.
I said season 3. I even wrote you sack of shit. You saw it in the notes and you just said, I'm gonna let him hang himself.
Maybe a little bit.
For those of you joining us for the first time, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, or our website, www.boobtubebuddies.com, to get in on the conversation. We'll definitely make sure all your thoughts, theories, everything like that get on air. We really like hearing from you guys, so don't hesitate to reach out. Right, Moth?
Absolutely. We love to hear your feedback, mesh it into the show, and occasionally interview you.
Oh my god.
That was pretty good gravitas, right?
Yeah, very I mean, you were like the ringmaster there for a second.
I want our show to sound a little bit more like the evening local news.
Before we get into it, just to address the elephant in the room, in case I do sound a little nasally, I am getting over a cold. That's why it's been a little bit of a slow release week, but still, honestly, when you count the one that we released today, I think that's 3 episodes in the last 7 days, which is pretty good for a light week for us.
Goddamn right it is.
Goddamn right. Anyway, Mothman, the first segment that we like to do here, why am I doing this like it's a skit? The first segment we like to do here on the Boob Tube Buddies podcast is called Summon It Up in a Tweet, which is 140 characters or less used to summarize the episode. So Mothman, drop that needle, cue it up. Here is Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Woo woo.
Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up, oh yeah, we're summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up and up.
Tweet.
All right, so this week, I'll be honest, I'm not too impressed with mine. I had a hard time coming up with a funny one, but I did it, You know why I did it?
I'm waiting.
Because it's a set segment and I had to do it. Anyway, all right.
Oh, man. What was that about gravitas? All right, let's hear it.
Witchcraft incest. One more fight scene. Not much else, though. Pick up the pace. Hashtag America.
This is the worst Summon It Up in a Tweet ever.
Well, then there's some really good hashtags. Hashtag America. Hashtag fishhooks. Hashtag showdown.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good.
I don't know about pretty good, but it exists.
All right. So you ready for mine?
Absolutely.
Pigeon shit, cow shit. What a strange ingredient. Poltergeist fucking in this saltpeter heist we get? Gonna duel a douche and I wonder who's winning it. And that is Summon It Up in a Tweet.
There we go, man. You did the fucking rap and everything. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, more like a spoken word is what I was trying to accomplish there.
Yeah, a mix between what's his name, Negan, and Captain Kirk.
Nice, good job, man.
Shatner.
You get me.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so kind of kicking things off, how did you feel about this episode overall? Do you feel like, as you could hear from my tweet, I felt like the pace is still dragging just a little bit?
Yeah, I am enjoying the show, but honestly, the more the mystery gets dragged out of the show, the less interesting I find it.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's much more in the way of revelations. Like, we've continually been seeing him using some sort of voodoo powers, but they also haven't really shown us tangibly what they're capable of. They've talked about talking across the sea. You see him doing some kind of ritual with Brace in the room, but you're not really sure what it's accomplishing. This is the first episode, at least, that you see something tangible happen. But even then, it didn't move things forward a whole lot,
Are you talking about the orgasm?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was, I don't know. A little gratuitous, like unnecessary. I don't know. I just wasn't like that into it.
I do love that I called last episode that I thought he and his mother-in-law were going to start banging, and they're getting close.
I just think like if I could access voodoo powers, that like becoming an incest poltergeist would probably be like pretty low on my list of things to accomplish.
I feel the same way. Did you ever watch the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie?
I did. I actually really like it. I think it's underrated.
It's a pretty piss poor movie, but it's funny.
Oh, fuck you. It's so fun. I love that movie.
The comic book that it's based on is pretty, I don't know, a lot more subversive. The Invisible Man in the comic book, the way that the League like finds him is that they get called to investigate a like Catholic, nunnery where some girls are having like virgin births, and it's just the Invisible Man raping these nuns.
Really? Damn, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah. They're like, well, we could just kill him, but he probably serves a purpose on our like superhero team, so we'll go ahead and just add him to the ranks.
No.
Yeah, for reals. That's what
for
Hollywood
the
tries
record,
to shield you from.
For the record, I realized as you started telling that story that I was thinking of Hellboy, not League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Am I getting my David Hyde Pierce flicks mixed up?
Maybe. I don't know. They're both comic book adaptations. Did you ever see League? It had Sean Connery in it as, what's his name? I can't remember. Quartermain?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I did, but so David Hyde Pierce is not in that?
I'd have to look it up. Either way.
Don't they have some cool boat or something in that?
Yeah, the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Good talk.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, there are some interesting things that happen, but a lot of it to me was kind of just plodding along. Like I felt like I was just watching scenes sometimes, and knowing that they're having to explain stuff and exposition to like make more of the plot move forward. But to an extent, all I really wanted to see this episode was action. We did at least get a little bit of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it starts off where last episode ended. So his mother-in-law gets dragged off to the dungeons, and Cooper's there, and he basically threatens her with rape. And then at the very last second, East India Co. barges in. So at the very least, we're seeing a little bit more of the Crown versus East India and James Delaney pitting them against each other. And you get some cool, like Coop when he is being all, like, Mr. Suave to the mother-in-law in the dungeons.
Yeah, he is just super smooth. He's a smooth operator.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, it was... he's a little over the top. What was their excuse for taking her though? Like
because she stabbed the Duke in the end of last episode. That's right.
Yeah, the threat they were making good in the threat from last episode, and then he essentially.
I will say that this episode was really light on Sir Stuart Strange. God, dude, every fucking time I can't say that name.
Never say it.
Sir Stuart Strange. Yeah,
just say for short.
Yeah, he was barely in this episode, and that's kind of disappointing because I actually do like his character a lot.
I do like his character. We did at least get to see him just like flip his shit pretty early on.
Yeah, that's true. He screams at the guys, but I mean, there's really not much more to it. And also, you got to see your favorite character, the Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Oh yeah, the Minute Taker. He's a badass.
You fucking love him. You've been like messaging me on Slack about him all week.
Yeah, that and that weird way that Tom Hardy walks because of his hulking lats. Is that what you call him?
Oh my God, what I call him. Everybody listens to the podcast and knows that you message me about it all week long. You're like, I can't wait till this week on Taboo. I'm really hoping that we get to see him in his loincloth. I know that we've talked about it quite a bit, but I think that this is the first week where we'll get to see him in his loincloth.
What is that accent?
That's how you talk. That's how I hear you.
You hear me as like mildly Australian?
I'm like an autistic Australian.
Oh my God. Oh man, I'm on the spectrum down under.
Oh, nice. Hey, that had a good ring to it.
Yeah, it did. That could definitely be like a show.
Your new nickname, the Spectrum Down Under?
Yeah, it's a little bit long.
Yeah, too wordy. Okay,
yeah,
so
stick with Mothman.
What did you think about the scene where he and the chemist are talking about semen and ejaculation and it turned into poison and things like that?
A little weird, right? I mean, he's just one, I guess, being a illusionist and knowing like a handful of basic chemical reactions back then just got you tons of poon, because the girls are like falling all over him for doing like a parlor trick. It's like the guy that takes out the beer bottle from the freezer, you know, and like slams it on the counter and the bottle cap opens.
I think about what my chemistry teacher looked like in high school, and I'm sure that no amount of pyrotechnics or any tricks with drugs or anything that he could have pulled off would have gotten him poon in any era in time.
Yeah, good point. Anyway, obviously it works for him, so he is just, you know, plowing away. And I love how Delaney just comes in there and asks, hopefully this isn't a bad time. And unfortunately...
yeah, as he's rear-ending that poor girl.
Yeah, and unfortunately does not get to, you know, bust a nut. And he then tells Delaney
Jesus Christ, that is really crude.
Is it?
I felt uncomfortable.
What would you prefer me say?
I don't know, releasing his petals or something like that.
Releasing his petals?
You know, something a little more poetic, please, other than busting his nut and blowing his goddamn load in that cunt. Fucking maniac.
Oh, man. Anyway, as he's trying to open the spigot there, and he doesn't get a chance to, and he says that...
Open the spigot. That's better.
Okay. It's a gardening reference. That becomes poisonous.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about with that, or you just want to make all your funny puns? Oh, snap. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so let's talk about the mother-in-law a little bit, because she has become more of like his right-hand man than Brace has. What do you think about that dynamic between them?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking last episode about them kind of becoming, you know, partners, because he does kind of initially they both kind of strike a deal, right? Like, I want the house and, you know, certain things, but you can actually have Nuka Sound, which he's okay with. So he wasn't originally trying to kill her off or anything, which you weren't sure what his strategy would be.
And then last episode, he's trying to get her to go. And he mentions it a couple of times in this one, but now she's
as
like...
a liability, yeah.
Well, and she's like integral to his plans now.
Yeah, and as you see her kind of show off and become a badass, you kind of figure it's going that way. But at the same time, I don't think she like considers them close enough partners for him to let her almost get raped.
Yeah, she did not seem
pissed.
super pleased about that, or she seemed nonplussed about it, to use a word that you like to go for.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting to see their alliance, but at the same time, he's kind of reluctant the whole time and continues to kind of say she's weak and, you know, not part of the plan, and, you know, this, that, and the other. So that's something I thought would have gotten more ground or more traction this episode, kind of with the setup from last episode, which was a bit of a letdown, you know?
I'm curious what you think about his new factory and the chemist's idea for making the gunpowder. First off, is that quote unquote factory? I took that to be the farmhouse that his younger brother lives at, like his maybe possibly illegitimate younger brother that he paid the guy money for, like for all the time he'd taken care of him.
Yeah, I think it is too. I don't think I would have jumped to that conclusion if it weren't for the fact that, you know, at the beginning of the episode when they kind of show the clips from, you know, previously on Taboo, they showed that clip which hasn't been relevant since episode 1.
Interesting. I skipped past that. So yeah, that makes me think so even more. Plus, you do see the boy in the window like right at the end.
And that, yeah, and then that was like solidifying it. But I think you know, it was just so long ago, and so many other things have happened. I don't know that I would have made the connection if they hadn't shown that clip. So to me, that's it. Obviously, saying that's what's happening, and that's where
I know that you are really good with you know, physics and chemistry and things like that. I'm hoping that you might be able to shine a little bit of light on this. So, first off, do you think it really is important to taste the animal feces to be able to determine whether or not it's going to work as a compound in whatever you're trying to create?
It's literally the only way to know for sure.
Okay, and which one do you prefer between the cow shit and the pigeon shit?
Actually, they got the formula wrong. There's no recipe with pigeon shit. It's actually dove shit.
Nice.
And I would choose the dove shit.
Carrion shit?
Yeah.
I do your fucking weird voice.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I'm such a pretentious Brit in your eyes.
Do you think that this honestly is a way to make gunpowder? I mean, I feel like saltpeter is part of the formula because I do play Ark Survival Evolved, and saltpeter definitely is involved in some sort of shit on there.
Yeah, I would have to look. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, right? Like, shit has methane and other things in it, which are fairly explosive and combustible. So, I mean, I'm sure it's rooted in some kind of like real thing that happened back then. Like what, kind of a makeshift way to make a bullet or gunpowder, the peasant's way. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm no
So
chemist.
all I need is some saltpeter and maybe just go around collecting a little and storing, obviously, some piss and some shit, and I can make gunpowder. I don't know. And honestly, if anybody listening out there knows more about this, I would be fascinated to find out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, gunpowder on its own is worthless. You also need a casing and a shell and bullet and all this other stuff. So it's only a very small part of the equation. So
That's true. So what did you think about the fight that happened during this scene? Because I thought it was pretty badass.
I liked it. It was a welcome change of pace because there hasn't been a whole lot of action. I mean, end of episode 2, was it, when he rips out the guy's throat, and that was kind of exciting, but then nothing else happened, and all these kind of bureaucratic and like negotiation pieces have been going on. So it's not the most action-packed show. But then I was almost disappointed that he got knocked out so quickly. But, there's a nice little reveal after that.
Yeah, that was cool because, well, first off, god damn, dude, that guy brained him. Like, hit him so hard on top of the head. He has blood the entire time, like syrupy, thick blood just pouring down over his eyes and like off of his brow and his nose. And just the way that he ends up hooking the guy up and stringing him out like that, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't need the show to be super gratuitous with like tons and tons of violence, but it would be nice if we got a little bit more. Like, it's been pretty minimal so far.
Yeah, seriously. Ixnay on the incest day and like mucho grande on the gore.
Yeah, mucho grande on the gore, indeedo, my Guido.
Friendo?
Oh, Guido. Jesus Christ.
Guido, how racist. Just say friendo like you're in a Coen Brothers movie.
I was trying to rhyme, you son of a bitch. All right, let me get my bearings here while we throw to an Audible ad, because I feel like I just said something super racist and now I'm embarrassed.
Hey, it's bound to happen on air at some point. We've all been there. All right,
What did you say that one time?
I'm not going to repeat it, but it rhymes with cookie.
Mulatto?
Oh, God.
That doesn't rhyme with cookie. All right, we'll be right back.
It's a style of cookie. Hey there, little buddies. Does the state of the world leave you in despair and make you want to leave this world only to try out another one? Well, you don't have to wait 50 years for Elon Musk to colonize Mars. You can step into another world right now with Audible. That's right. With Audible, you can go to any foreign world you want with classic authors such as H.G. Wells, Philip K. Dick, George Orwell, and many, many more. And just when you finish one book and become depressed, have to confront the harsh reality that you live in, well, that's when you realize there's 180,000 more titles to choose from. So go to audibletrial.com/Boob Tube Buddies to try it free for 30 days. You'll be doing yourself a favor, and I guarantee you won't regret it. Nor will your fragile psyche. And we're back.
You hate
it's like a game of chicken, but I always lose.
Oh shit. Okay, so let's real quick then talk about the heist, because I know then the rest of the time we're probably gonna end up talking about the fancy little party. So why don't you lead the conversation about the heist? Because I know when we talked off air a minute ago, you were really hyped up about the scene.
Yeah, there's like some point in time during the episode where Tom Hardy is sitting with Russell Crowe at like a picnic bench. And then later,
Russell Crowe.
Later, there's like all this fancy Ocean's 11 shit where they're scaling walls and sucking dicks and this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah, I do remember when Casey Affleck sucked that dick in the middle of Ocean's 12.
Yeah, it was Brad Pitt's dick.
Oh Jesus, dude! Come on, man, get it together.
But otherwise, what were they taking? Saltpeters?
That's it. They end up stealing some saltpeter. It was actually a pretty cool little scene. Like, they obviously used the chemist shit that he had given to Laney to blow open the door, and yeah, they fucked some of those guards up pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess you're. I don't even know why you asked me the question about the mixing shit together. It clearly equals gunpowder.
I mean, I guess that works, but the gunpowder, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I thought the gunpowder that's what he is hoping to sell at some point, right? Or was that all just for creating this one little explosive? No, because the saltpeter,
it's to make even more.
It's to make more.
I think they
so
made small amounts to infiltrate, and then they're gonna, growth, exponential growth. It's gonna be a great year for this company.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so all right, let's talk about this fancy party. Which, by the way, I know you have thrown some fancy parties in your time. I remember when you had that housewarming party in Sanford, how wild it got, and it was very much like this one, don't you think?
I think it was virtually the same. Check out our Facebooks, and you can, definitely see me rosy cheeked.
I just hated some of the shots in this scene though, where it would be like the camera's like tilting sideways and back and forth, and you see all the creepo deepos laughing with their little masks on, and some dude's wearing a pig head like he's straight out of American Horror Story Roanoke.
I know there was that weird mascot head that I think was a little too much. I also thought once they started filtering in all the upskirt shots, that was a little bit much as well.
Come on, dude. God damn it. You can't even go 2 seconds without being inappropriate.
I mean, that is kind of our calling card here at Boob Tube Buddies.
Upskirt shots?
All big and appropriate. We're not the, button up and tie monkey suits.
Monkey suits? Mothman? Jesus Christ. It was pigs a second ago.
What? I don't even know where you're going now.
Okay, so I have to say, you had mentioned something about Doug Stamper's accent early on, and I have to say now it's become distracting to me, and I don't know if it's because you said something or
it's my animal magnetism. It just seeped into your brain.
I'm just ignoring that. Ignore. Jesus Christ, put that out of your fucking brain and move on. Just don't listen to him. Okay, so the fact that he sounds exactly like he does in everything else, he just sounds like Doug Stamper with like a fucking shitty fake grill put in his mouth, and he's dirty.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of actors that I love, but are very much in terms of how they sound like one-trick ponies.
Yeah, maybe that's why he is a really good like
character actor.
But he's not even a good character actor. He's just good at playing. I don't know. I'm not super impressed with him in this show.
He's kind of like I just watched The Night Of recently. And know who else is in it? The guy that plays Turk from Luke Cage. He's always just a small-time criminal.
I'm sorry, hold on, wait. Night Of? Is that the one that has Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, and they're in a museum where everything comes to life?
No, that's Night of the Museum. The Night Of is the HBO miniseries about the one that happened. John Turturro's the lawyer, and it's some I can't remember
the Middle
the
Eastern kid, and
Middle Eastern
girl
kid
dies, and
exactly very good. But like Turk is basically a criminal in prison who is paid off all the guards and kind of lives like a king in there. But he plays the exact same character as the informant in Daredevil. I think he's also in The Wire. You've
seen Parks and Rec, and have you seen the new It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I've not watched this week's. I just watched Wolf Cola before we recorded.
You've seen enough Parks and Rec to know the character Perd Hapley, who's like the anchor.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love Perd Hapley.
First off, he was an actual news anchor for years.
I didn't, but that I don't know, delights me to no end.
And well, I'm sorry to spoil it, but we're on air, and I was trying to make a point, so I'm just gonna go for it. It's like literally a moment in a scene. But he's a news reporter and anchor on the last night's episode of It's Always Sunny.
Oh my goodness, that's good. That's
it's just
so
what he
exciting.
does, yeah.
That's very.
It's
exciting.
a really, really good episode. By the way, I'm not going to get into it because you haven't seen it, but it's really good. It's like how to make a murderer or making a murderer. Did you ever watch that documentary?
Yeah, like the Netflix miniseries. Yeah, it was
exactly.
Excellent.
Yes, it's very much like kind of based off or spoofing that.
That sounds right up my alley. Always Sunny.
Okay.
I would say Always Sunny, just to to talk real quick. Yeah, if you don't already watch Always Sunny, it's kind of crazy. It's been on 12 years, but it is perfect. And almost every episode, they have like a unique, weird little thing now.
Also, since they're renewed for 2 more seasons past this one, by the time they're done with those 2 seasons, they'll be the longest running live action sitcom, tied with Ozzie and Harriet. So that's something.
Wait, a live action sitcom?
Yeah, not The Simpsons, basically.
Really? That's crazy. So like that would be going on more than like Seinfeld and all those other, like Cheers and all those other long running shows.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure if you group together Cheers and Frasier, maybe that would outdo it. But I mean, yeah, that I read that online the other day, and if you read it online, it's gotta be true.
Green eggs and ham.
Excuse me?
That's from the Frasier theme song.
Fraser?
Fraser.
Fraser.
That's that weird accent.
Oh man, that's I'm Mothman, and my favorite show is Fraser. I really like the Fraser beam, and I think he is pretty cool and funny.
Oh man, you are really perfected it.
Yeah, nailed it. Okay, so what did you think, honestly, about the party scene? Because you see a lot of the main characters are there. Doug Stamper, first off, lets him know that the Americans know about he and his sister, which is weird, and I don't understand it.
Wasn't he also saying that the dude that attacked him was on their behalf?
Yeah, he just admitted it flat out.
So what was, I thought they had a partnership. Why is he sending this dude to attack him?
They don't have a partnership. He basically right now is partnered up, and by partnered up, I mean he's pitted East India Trading Co. and the Crown against him a little bit, but at the same time, and against each other, but they can't touch him. But the Americans now, if they killed him, I'm pretty sure that all of his holdings are bequeathed to them, right? So him dying would be like the best thing. But now that they're realizing, oh, maybe he's a little harder to kill than that. But what the fuck? Send one man after him? So all it would have taken for the Americans to have gotten this land that everybody's fighting for here is to send, what?
3
2 men?
Just to be safe?
Yeah, dare we say 3
Well, I
thugs
mean,
against
especially,
him?
the thing that's crazy is he saved his life after another single person failed and got his throat ripped out.
At that point, though, he had not written up the will and testament granting the Nootka Sound land to the Americans.
No, so, I'm just saying that he has firsthand knowledge that one person isn't good enough, is my point.
Oh,
he's an American. He understands that like one person isn't the recipe to beat this guy. So you'd think to be better safe than sorry, they would go to 2 to 3 men.
I just thought that was a little bit of a plot hole there. Like, all it takes now for the Americans to get this thing that everybody, all these huge powers are fighting for, all it takes is him dying, and they send one man, and then they decide, oh, fuck, that didn't work. I gotta go to plan B. I gotta out him on the incest because he seems so worried about his reputation.
I know. Seriously, I don't really understand what that is gonna do. They're like, you know what, the actual murder didn't work, so let's just trash him in the tabloids. That'll do it.
And then he goes into that magician's box with Carlsbad, who we've heard a few times, and I found her to be a little underwhelming too. Like, for her to have been mentioned a handful of times as this mysterious, I don't know, higher up American spy power thing. And what's really disappointing is he's not surprised to find out that it's her at all either. So it's like, it's just like very difficult to know what he knows. And since he's never surprised, it kind of takes a little bit of the oomph out of the show. Like, the fact
he's like
that
constantly just grumpy cat.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter what you tell him.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, nothing's ever new to him. He always gets it. And it just makes you ask, like, what's new, grumpy cat? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, man, that's a sweet Tom Jones reference.
Oh, man.
Keep it original.
Anyway, and I found I found just the party to be very unusual. But you know what? It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
I will say, every time you say the party, all I think of is the Ween song, The Party.
We had the best time at your party.
Yeah, oh god, it's so good. I've been listening to quite a bit of Ween this week, but the party, outside of all the other stuff going on, you get, like, he's there with his mother-in-law. Everyone's saying that. Once again, he clearly does not care about what people think, because he's kind of parading that around and everyone knows what's up. But he also continues to, essentially push the point with his sister, and you continue to see flashbacks of, oh, my voice is leaving.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck was that?
Of the over-the-air
That's so dramatic all of a sudden.
Orgasm. Oh,
I'm just going to tell a story, and all of a sudden I'm talking like this.
And this is what happened next, you get my eye?
Jesus Christ. Okay, and I guess the only thing we haven't really talked about here is the duel at the end. And
I challenge you to a duel, sir. Do you accept?
I thought it was pretty strange that he challenges him to a duel, and then we get pause, dramatic pause, hold for it, and then it cuts off. Like, okay, wow, we got this dramatic spoiler before next episode, and then immediately next week on Taboo, and it's clips of them like gearing up to duel each other. It's just like, I don't know, maybe just like say I accept or something. Like, why have it as the world's shittiest cliffhanger?
Yeah, no, they're just, that was one of my big qualms with the episode, period, was just there didn't seem to be a whole lot that happened, so why couldn't the duel in its entirety have happened this episode?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, and the funny thing is like, there's a lot of different places he goes to, like a lot of things happen, they just don't, none of them push the plot forward at all. The only thing that pushes the plot forward is that he meets with the physicist, but to be fair, the physicist is only covering him getting the gunpowder, which was a problem that was presented to him this episode. So that wasn't moving some other plot device forward. That was them creating a problem that needed to be solved this episode. Is it? So all he did was he met Carlsbad. I'm trying to think, did anything else of import happen? Really? I mean, he met Carlsbad.
Pretty much. I mean, he met Carlsbad. He started the gunpowder stuff, which was, like you said, brought up this episode. So that was kind of it. Like, they keep introducing stuff instead of, I don't know, moving what they've already introduced along.
I'm disappointed too, because like, I still consider myself a fan of the show.
Sure.
But I thought the episode last week, I thought that, I'm not so gung-ho about it anymore. I'm not telling everybody to rush out and watch it. And then I watched this one this week, and I'm like, maybe it's a good thing that this is confined to not being an ongoing series, because I can still be excited about it as a mini series if that's what it is. But if it is going on multiple seasons, I don't know. I kind of lose faith in their ability to be able to push forward a full story as opposed to letting you get bogged down in side adventures every episode, which is particularly disappointing if it is a self-contained thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's like these little side quests, none of which are that interesting in and of themselves anyway. You know, I mean, I don't know. There's not much. I mean, there's a little bit of supernatural stuff going on with his skill set, so I'd almost rather there be kind of more fantastical side missions if they're going to go that route, because that I think would at least be more engaging and entertaining, almost like Monster the Week style, while this, you know, bureaucratic land bargaining stuff goes on in the background.
Yeah. All right, scale 1 to 10. What do you think of this episode in particular?
I mean, this episode in particular, 6.
Okay, yeah, I probably would have said a 5 myself.
Yeah, I have a hard time going to 5. That almost means like, Jesus, what am I doing with my life?
Well, what's the point of even having 1, 2, 3, and 4 then? Like, what would this show have to do for you to drop below a 5?
I mean, I would just actively not be wanting to watch it anymore.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if a show hits a 5, that's just a show I don't want to watch, period. But if it's on in the room, I might sit through it, but I wouldn't make the decision. If it's 4 and below, I likely won't even sit through it.
Wow.
You know,
look at Mr. Highbrow over here. Man, I pretty much live on
in the
2s
4s
and 3s.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say I'm above them. Like, I could, given circumstances, you know, like stuck somewhere for the weekend with limited things to view, I could get some entertainment out of them. But there's, to me,
okay, so what would be a 2 or a 3 for you? Like, can you think of a show that? Because for me, a 2 or a 3 would be like Vanderpump Rules.
I don't know what that is. I watched the first 2 episodes of Gotham, and to me, those would be like probably 3.
Okay, all right. I actually, you know, I like Gotham, but you know, I'm a little embarrassed by it, right?
Yeah. You've told me that. I'm trying to think of another recent show. I just don't. I mean, Big Bang Theory is like a 3 for me.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory is probably a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
anything with the laugh track for me instantly, other than Seinfeld, instantly drops below a 5. It caps at a 5.
Yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch Seinfeld because I've, you know, never watched all of it and didn't watch it a whole lot as a kid, and it's all on Hulu now. But I go and do it. There's a laugh track, and that just makes it so difficult for me.
I will say with Seinfeld, you'd be best suited starting at like season 3, maybe, because the first 2 seasons actually are enjoyable, but not that good.
Yeah, I remember,
and that's like my favorite comedy of all time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Simpsons. Like, if you watch the first season, there's like, it's just interesting to compare it to, say, a modern episode of Family Guy, because there's like 1 or 2 jokes an episode almost. Whereas like Family Guy is like every 3 seconds there's not only a joke but like a visual flashback to it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. I think that we could pretty much wrap it up then. Thank you everybody for listening. As always, tell a friend about the show. Share a link to our show on Twitter or Facebook or something. And I'm sure there's other ways you can help out too. But, you know, that's the main things, right?
Those are the main things.
I guess Audible or 5 stars on Stitcher or iTunes or whatever, but whatever. Do something to help out, man. Come on. Jesus Christ. We're doing this for free. Right?
Seriously, right? I mean, what, 120 episodes or some bullshit at this point? Crazy.
Actually, I think that we're up to 135-ish.
God, that's a lot of content.
It is a lot of content. A lot of free content, you fucking coattailers.
Seriously. Hey, guys, keep mooching off us, but then pay us, right? That's the moral of the story.
That's it. Honestly, I feel like this is getting a little handouty, a little shilly, a little sing for your supper-y. So let's just go ahead and tie a bow on this bitch.
All right. We'll see you next week, little buddies.